Good evening! Welcome to Tweed Up, where we take video games, music, movies, and more way too seriously, and we're still doing some catch-up from 2022, so this is our top 10 films of 2022. Or movies. Movies or films.
Not shows. No shows.
Alright, so we're just gonna get into it. Starting at number 10, we have The Black Phone.
Woo!
Yeah, released June 24th of 2022, directed by Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson had directed Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange movie, which is awesome, several years back now. He also, started out with horror, directed Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister. He also did the Lock and Key comic book series, which I know they've made a TV series out of. But it's written and directed by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, based on a short story by Joe Hill.
Stephen King's son.
Yeah, and he's been, he's been very they made the movie Horns with Daniel Radcliffe from a Joe Hill novel. Yeah, and so let me start. Speaking of Stephen King, so this movie is set in 1978. Suburban Denver, and when the movie started and it was 1978 suburban Denver, I didn't know much about the narrative. I have not read the short story that this is based on, but I just assumed that the 1978 section was the the beginning of it, and then it would be present day. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, the entire movie is set in 1978, and it's about kids. It starts with kids playing baseball, and there's not much more Stephen King than kids playing baseball at the beginning of a horror story. So this, I don't want to talk too much about the actual narrative of it, but I mean, it has a lot in common with it and Stand By Me and any Stephen King, story that is about kids
coming together.
Yeah, and there are supernatural elements. This film is not overly gory, and it's not overly disturbing, and so that's why I put it on my list, because I think there's a trend in modern horror to go too much into disturbing or overly gory, even for comedy's sake.
What's the name of that production company that's doing all the movies now? They redid the Invisible Man, something House.
Well, they did this movie.
Oh, there you go.
Blumhouse, but
there you go. I was gonna say they tend to go kind of over the top, but
they made The Black Phone. But yeah, it's got Mason Thames is Finney, the main character. Really excellent. Well, I'm sure he's been in something, but a young actor. He does really good. Madeline McGraw is Gwen, his sister. She's awesome. She really kind of carries the emotion of it. So she's not the character that's in peril most of the time, but the emotional weight of the film is kind of on this young actor's shoulders, and she does a fantastic job. And then you have Ethan Hawke is the villain of the piece, and for a lot of the piece,
common thread here.
For a lot of the piece, a lot of his acting is just his eyes, and it's really, really amazing. The parts where the camera is really close on his eyes are really, really they're strange, and they're this is not a likable character at all, and I'm not saying I like the character, but he gives there is a human, behind the monster, is what you get when you see his eyes up close. So if you haven't seen it, I really, really recommend watching it. It's, it's not too gross, it's not too disturbing. So if you like Stephen King, I highly recommend it.
Do it. Number 10.
You're getting it.
Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, coming in at number 9. That is written and directed by Rian Johnson, a quite accomplished director, master of cinematography. I personally don't think he knows what he's doing in Star Wars. This guy does. Neither here nor there for the purposes of this movie. Starring an ensemble cast of really pretty tremendous actors. You got Daniel Craig as Blanc Benoit, the world's greatest detective, or possibly second best. Janelle Monáe. I'm not going to name all of the characters or the actors' characters for some spoiler prevention, but you have Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, who is an absolute blast in everything that he's in.
Leslie Odom Jr. is awesome in it.
One of my personal favorites, Love Hamilton, has a painting in my home.
Catherine Hahn is really funny in it.
She's playing Catherine Hahn, but she's always good. She's appealing.
Kate Hudson
doing big things, looking fantastic. She is Goldie Hawn these days, I believe.
Right.
Just completely transformed. It is a mystery movie, so I don't really want to give a lot away, but I think everybody's going to have seen it at this point.
Yeah, what I really liked about it is that it's really funny, you know, and
genuinely hilarious.
You know, I'm not the biggest mystery fan. It just, a lot of it is, especially like the PBS mysteries and stuff like that. You know, it's a little too dry, and like what this does, it takes those. I mean, the first, Knives Out kind of did that as well. But this movie, I feel like, goes further. It's got all the characters are colorful characters. That's like the point of the movie. You know,
bigger than life.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
Yeah, and it's really fun the whole way through. You know?
Absolutely. I'd also add that it's a beautiful movie. Rian Johnson, regardless of your opinions of the movies that he makes, I think most people can agree that they are beautiful. His use of color, set design, the locations, just really outstanding.
Yeah.
A couple things I do want to touch on that I thought were really kind of cool. This movie takes place during the COVID pandemic, and people are wearing masks and social distancing, except for Birdie. First time that I'd really seen that on film, people wearing masks.
But they get like inoculated by Ethan Hawke.
By Ethan Hawke, none other than Ethan Hawke, who plays the assistant to the reclusive billionaire director
Miles Braun.
I have to say it was a pretty good mystery. I did not know who done it.
Yeah. I just want to shout out. There's a scene where Daniel Craig's character is playing Among Us, and it's just like a really good. It shows that like adults with serious lives can relax by playing video games. Whereas most movies that show people playing video games are showing teenagers blowing each other up, Yeah. And it's cool that a movie shows like
Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury playing a video game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
The puzzles, the actual glass onion itself.
Yeah.
The hourly dong.
Yeah.
None other than Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the hourly dong. I laughed every single time that happened.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, solid number 9. Thank you, Rian Johnson, and thank you. Was it Netflix that produced this movie?
I believe so. Yeah, they're starting to put some money into their original movie. Yeah. It's not the only Netflix financed film on this list.
There you go. Spoiler alert. All right, Neil, number 8.
All right, number 8. We're gonna go with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Woo!
All right, so I am a huge fan of Doctor Strange, and I guess we should get this out of the way. Both Zac and I are pretty big fans of the MCU, Now, I like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a lot. Now, it was released May 6th, directed by Sam Raimi, written by Michael Waldron, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, Elizabeth Olsen, who is awesome as Wanda, and all the other, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Carl Mordo, Benedict Wong as Wong, Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez, and Rachel McAdams, who actually has a lot to do in this movie.
She does.
Christine Palmer. So it carries over the cast from the first movie, a very wise decision, because I think Doctor Strange, the first movie, is one of my probably top 4 MCU movies. I really, really like it a lot. And it's funny, so Scott Derrickson from The Black Phone was directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and left for like creative differences.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And Sam Raimi came in and took it over.
Made a Sam Raimi movie.
Changed it. It was after Derrickson left that they made the decision to make, well, this isn't a major spoiler, but they made Scarlet Witch the antagonist of the film.
There you go.
But much like the first film, I really like the parts of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that take inspiration from the art from Doctor Strange comics, from the past. Some of the the multiverses that they go into have that psychedelic look, which is taken from the old like Steve Ditko stuff. I like the Dead Strange, which is in the previews. It's not, and I really like, if you can see this is from Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme, my favorite run from like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s of Doctor Strange comics. Now, this is actually an image where Nightmare has taken over Doctor Strange's body, but I feel like this informs both the evil Strange look and the dead Strange look in Multiverse of Madness.
It does. This is kind of a treat for me, as it's unexpected, and I definitely see the influence on those designs.
Yeah.
And I loved the Dead Strange. The traveling through the different dimensions was a visual treat, and I wish it had been explored a little bit more, but they had to keep things moving along.
This is to me, this is not a top tier Marvel movie, but I still think it's one of the best movies of the year. I do think there's too much in it. The different Earths that they're going to, and like the spoilery stuff with characters from other franchises. I think Marvel is going a little. They're letting that take over their movies, I think, too much.
Let's tie in everything.
I hope that they get away from that with the new, like, getting to the Secret Wars arc and stuff, which they're going to. But I do think America Chavez is really underused. I mean, they introduced the character, but she's really not.
She's kind of just there.
She's important to the plot, but really is not given much to do. But it's definitely a Sam Raimi movie. He gets his own, visual style into the MCU, which is really cool. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of
Evil Dead callbacks.
Yeah, indeed. I had a lot of fun with it. So, anyway, let's move on to number 7.
Thor: Love and Thunder. This movie was written and directed by Taika Waititi, who is just a blast, starring Chris Hemsworth as the mighty, well, no, he's not the mighty Thor, he's just Thor. You have Natalie Portman as Jane Foster / the mighty Thor, spoiler alert. Christian Bale, speaking of being underused, as the antagonist Thor, the God Butcher.
But he's awesome, man. Every second he's in the film, he's awesome.
Every frame of the film that he is in alive. The always awesome Tessa Thompson reprises her role as Valkyrie, King Valkyrie. Taika Waititi as Korg, and some voiceover work, and a somewhat guest appearance, I guess you would call it, by Russell Crowe.
Zeus!
Who was actually pretty much just a blast. This movie is not a film. I'm not gonna say that it's a film, okay? I'm gonna say that this movie was a fun movie that I genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah.
Early on in the movie, you might be faced with a choice. Do I want to judge this movie? Or do I just want to sit here and enjoy myself and not be a snob?
Right.
And so what I did, I went ahead and went with the latter. Let's just have fun, man.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, just go along with it. Don't worry about anything. Why didn't they do this? Because it's a movie, all right? And if you go with that approach, you're going to really enjoy it. Chris Hemsworth is really appealing.
Always is.
Always is. Good-looking dude. Way better than his brother in every way. Guardians of the Galaxy opening, get you rolling. Allows for some fun music. Music in this film, tremendous.
Always is, yeah.
I thought they were pandering specifically to, GNR, all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I think they took a lot of ideas from Ragnarok and brought them into this film, And
sometimes, even with my letting it go and trying to enjoy things, repeating some things from Ragnarok.
I know.
Man.
I think that is the problem that this movie has, is that everyone's comparing it to Ragnarok and thinking, oh, this isn't as good as Ragnarok. Yeah, it's not as good as Ragnarok, but it's still super fun and it's super awesome.
Yeah. Gore the God Killer.
Yeah.
His origin is sympathetic, and man, I don't want to.
The beginning of the movie is like one of the best parts of the movie.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's great.
But yeah, Gore's motivations, Gore's execution, his powers, his actions are all tremendous.
Yeah.
And as you said, expertly portrayed by Christian Bale.
As always.
If he's only ever in this movie for the MCU, he knocked it out of the park. He did a great
100%.
Natalie Portman. She has always been awesome. She continues to be awesome.
Yeah, I like this. Like I was saying, like I really like when they take ideas from the comic books and put them in. And this is the 2016 run that they completely took the cancer storyline from and put into the film. I really like, and the look of the Mighty Thor is also taken directly from that run of comics as well.
And at the risk of going ahead and starting a whole culture war thing, like, I have seen so many people complaining about, oh, or Jane Foster's Thor, you know. Well, number one, happened in the comics. Number two, she's been this character that's just been hanging out. Thor's lost love and constantly, oh, will they, won't they, still, blah, blah, blah. This movie sorts all that out. We don't have to worry about it anymore. And I thought they did so in a very satisfactory way. I didn't think that she was any more powerful than she should be. People are crazy. I thought near the end the decisions that she made were touching and admirable. And, you know, if I'm ever faced with choices like that, I hope I do go for it too, you know?
Yeah.
Inspiring stuff.
Yeah, no, I like this movie a lot, but I was like he was saying about the decision you have to make, you just have to decide to have fun with the movie. I do think, like, it's in a weird point in the MCU. This really does not
Phase 4
advance, like, the overall plot lines, really.
It's a Monster of the Week adventure.
Yeah, but it's a fun movie.
It is. It's a fun movie, and you know what? This world is rough. It is hard. Let yourself disengage from the world for 2 hours and just enjoy a flick.
You don't need to hate things.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement.
I did it for decades. Gave me wrinkles. It's just have fun, man. Smile lines. They're way better. So yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder, solid number 7.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah, moving on to number 6.
Number 6. I'm going to talk about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Love me some Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, came out November 9th, so towards the end of the year. Directed by Del Toro and Mark Gustafson. Written by Del Toro and Matthew Robbins. You know, starring Gregory Mann as the voice of Pinocchio, David Bradley as the voice of Geppetto, and Ewan McGregor as the Cricket. If you haven't seen it and you like Del Toro's work, you should watch it. I mean, it has a lot of the themes from The Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth, even The Shape of Water. You know, I mean, he's talked about it. He's been wanting to make this film for a long, long time, and he does a really cool, like, this isn't really, I don't think, a spoiler, but
people know what Pinocchio is.
Pinocchio does not want to become a real boy, and never, well,
it's a twist. Go ahead. Hey,
does not want to become a real boy. That's not.
If you wanted to see this movie, you'd already have seen it.
But that's not the point of that character's journey in this. And I guess I should say, if you don't know, this is a stop-motion animated film. So it looks amazing. They're actually taking a lot of they're already there. A lot of the puppets from this movie are on display at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Mm-hmm. They're on display until like April, I think, March or April. That's the kind of movie that this is, that you would go to look at these pieces, you know. Watching this movie made me think about working. A tangent, real quick. I used to work at Blockbuster Video.
So did I.
Yeah.
Where do you think we met?
We should have to do a video about Blockbuster Video at some point. Yeah.
I'm 100% down.
But I worked at a Blockbuster Video that was a pretty unique store. It was right on a college campus, and I was kind of able to order whatever films I wanted to with the explanation.
The power that he had.
The explanation was that, these like college professors are assigning all these film students and they need to watch these movies. I mean, that wasn't true, but
how many copies of City of God did you order?
We had like the best foreign film section of like any Blockbuster. It was great.
He did.
And it made me think. I ordered like any film by Jan Svankmajer that I could, who's a stop-motion animation genius. Made an Alice in Wonderland, stop-motion animated. It's so cool. It's so dark. I think very much an inspiration on the animation from this film. Mm-hmm. There's a part, and it's like it uses like real-world objects, like the the caterpillar, you know,
Yeah.
is like socks, and you see the socks like crawl out of drawers,
Yeah.
and then they make a caterpillar. It's so awesome. But I digress. If you like stop motion animation, you've probably already watched this, but if you haven't, you should watch it. If you like Guillermo del Toro's work, you should watch it. It's awesome.
Yeah, Pinocchio, of the 2 Pinocchio movies that came out this year, or I guess there were 3, counting...
I know there were at least 2, right? I don't know. Were there 3?
Last year. I think there was one with, like, Pauly Shore or something. I did not watch
Pauly
it.
Shore?
I'm not, yeah.
I want to see that.
I don't think you do. Yeah, this was definitely the best one.
Yeah.
The Tom Hanks version.
The music is really good, too.
Oh, yeah. Moving on to number 5, we have a roller coaster ride of a film, and I'm calling this one a film, Top Gun Maverick.
Indeed.
Woo! Highway to the Danger Zone. Man, Tom Cruise is a maniac. He went and got America back in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
I don't know who directed this.
It's true.
It was Tom Cruise, as far as I'm concerned. Who directed this
Directed
movie?
by Joseph Kosinski, written by Aaron Kruger, Eric Singer, and Christopher McQuarrie.
Awesome, great job. After having watched this movie, I feel like I have personally bombed a foreign country in an F-18 Super Hornet, man. You've got the Top Gun, you've got the egos, the pilots, you know, trench runs. What's your favorite trench run in a movie, Neil? Is it Star Wars?
Sure, yes.
You're going to go with Star Wars trench run? Solid answer.
All right, I don't know. Is there a
Independence
trench
Day
run
technically has a trench run.
Is there a trench run in The Last Starfighter? Maybe not. He just
No,
like,
it's
spins
just
around.
the Death Lotus or whatever it's called. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't count that as a trench run. I'm going to say that this movie, trench run, maybe as good as Episode 4.
Yeah,
I knew
pretty
there
awesome.
I am nerding out Episode 4. Look at me. But yeah, you want to talk about a movie that is going to make you clench in your seat. one of these. Like, CGI is getting great.
Yeah.
But that maniac Tom Cruise putting himself in the cockpit of a fighter jet and his co-stars in these fighter jets, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Nothing like the real thing, and they captured it spectacularly.
Yeah.
To move on to the plot, not only was I flexing abs, these bros are flexing abs this entire movie. It has some of that great machismo, maybe not quite over the top like the first one. Well, you disagree? You think it was even more
No,
over
I mean
the top?
they play like shirtless football on the beach.
Yeah,
you know, I mean
yeah.
that's.
That's
But
what you had
there's a girl playing.
There is. A
Um,
female pilot, getting
yeah.
more modern times. Rooster, played by Miles Teller, is a replacement for Goose, son of Goose, and the conflicted character that Tom Cruise is trying to really bring out the full potential. Boy, Rooster has a problem with Maverick.
And rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Maverick did him wrong.
Yeah, well, no spoilers, but Miles Teller is awesome in this movie, I have to say.
I thought he was pretty good. I don't think Miles Teller can sing. There's a whole scene of him singing.
Yeah.
Fun scene, great scene that takes place in Jennifer Connelly's bar.
Jennifer Connelly is great.
And she is tremendous. She's got really great hair. Always will. I honestly, Neil, I think I can make an argument for this being the best movie of the year.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know that's bold.
It's great. It's really good. It made me think about, it made me feel like I, was 10 or 11, with like G.I. Joes and putting together models of F-14s and stuff. You know what I mean?
USA!
Yeah.
USA!
Yeah. I would say, like, I do like this. I like the decision that they made to not name the country.
I'm so
you
glad
know what I
they
mean?
didn't. Yeah.
You can just pretend that it's like aliens or robots, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
They're bombing robots.
You don't actually see
Or
any humans
aliens.
get killed in this movie.
Right. I mean, you do see like dudes running around in uniforms.
Yeah.
But they could just be cleaning up.
Yeah, they're tidying.
They might not have
did
killed
make
anybody.
Gosh darn mess.
And all the pilots, I'm sure, like ejected.
Yeah,
right?
these all have ejection seats. They're fine.
Yeah.
Those
So you don't have to
fighters-
feel bad about like
No. They were probably dropping these bombs on Europeans. Oh boy. Get cut. But no, you don't see gory deaths. There is no risk of being offended unless you just really don't like the United States military, which,
Yeah, I would say this,
feel.
much like Thor, God and Love and Thunder, is a movie. If you decide, oh, I'm just going to go on this ride and have fun with it, you will have fun. If you want to,
Well, that's where I'm sitting right now, so,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm coming from. Best movie of the year? Was it the best film of the year? No. Was it? No.
Right.
And
Okay.
our number one, it deserves to be the best movie of
Yeah.
the year. But if we're talking about a movie that you go to and enjoy your popcorn and you're sitting there and you're just having a fun time in that movie, man, Top Gun Maverick, it's amazing.
It is great.
One more shout out to Tom Cruise. The guy wants to make you feel like you're there. He does some insane stuff to make that happen. Guy's going to space, so we can all feel like astronauts, okay? So respect to Tom Cruise. Godspeed, Tom. Or Xenu speed?
Right.
All right. Anyway.
You don't want to get enemies, man.
Top Gun Maverick. Fantastic flick.
Shout out to Val Kilmer.
Amen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Number 4?
Up to number 4. This is on the complete opposite of Top Gun Maverick. Number 4 is All Quiet on the Western Front, the 2022.
No disguising that people are passing away in this one.
Yeah. Came out October 28th, so relatively recently. Directed by Edward Berger, screenplay by Berger, Ian Stokell, Leslie Patterson, based on the book by Erich Maria Remarque. I read All Quiet on the Western Front when I was probably 22, something like that. So I know a lot of kids, maybe not kids, but students read it like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read it in high school?
We did.
Yeah, I didn't read it in high school. I think it was just after high school. And so, that book was written came out in 1929. And then the movie, the 1930 Best Picture legendary All Quiet on the Western Front, came out in 1930.
Wow.
Like, can you believe the turnaround on that?
Yeah.
Like, I was doing, looking it up for this movie, and I was like, how did they turn around that in a year?
Crazy.
And, like, that film is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different from the book and from this film. This newer film, although not a straight recreation of the book, it has some subplots that are not from the book and stuff, but is a much more accurate, I would say, in my opinion, much more accurate representation of the novel than the 1930 movie.
Agreed.
It starts out with an overhead shot of a forest, and then you see, and it hangs there like a long time. Yeah. It hangs there, and you think like, oh, is it paused? Yeah, because there's no soundtrack. If there is a soundtrack, it's super quiet. And then you get an overhead shot of like a fox with some cubs, and then you get a closer shot of like a nursing fox cub.
Yeah.
And these are all kind of slow scene changes, and then it changes to a field, and a desolated field, trench warfare, bodies, young men dead, being riddled periodically by bullets. So you kind of know right away what kind of film you're in. I mean,
this is what I've gotten myself into.
It reminds me a lot of the great Terrence Malick, The Thin Red Line.
Yep.
Fantastic film. It's an anti-war film, obviously, and I think it's interesting how, so the book was banned in Germany.
Yeah.
And I really like that this is the first film version from Germany of this, because it's really not an anti-German film at all. It's an anti-war film, you know? I think the 1930 film was the Americans really loved it, and because it was an anti-war film, this is pre-World War II, when there was a pacifist, movement in the United States that had some political power that did not change until really we got into World War II, So
and we ain't looked back since.
But anyway, I really like this film. If you like it, even if you don't like war films, the filmmaking, the acting's fantastic. Felix Kammerer, who plays Paul Baumer, does an amazing job of transitioning from enthusiastic young soldier to you know, understanding what war is really, really quickly. It doesn't take very long in the film for that change to happen, and he sells it. You know, you can see it in his eyes and like the way he holds his face.
Yeah, he's a gifted
really
actor.
good. Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in anything else, but yeah.
He's really awesome. There's also a big subplot about like the political fight for armistice, which I like that they put it in here, but was not the strongest parts of the film, in my opinion. But it's really good. Highly recommend it. And I understand sometimes it's hard to get yourself up to wanting to watch a depressing film, but the filmmaking is fantastic, and it's a message that we all need to hear.
Yes, but you know, as much as I love Top Gun, and we can make excuses for, oh, they didn't say who they were at war with, it's glorifying, you know, that
100%.
some things that we shouldn't.
So is most of our entertainment.
Absolutely.
That's why you have to. It is incumbent upon you, if you enjoy, you know, Rambo and Top Gun, you have to watch stuff like All Quiet on the Western Front.
Gotta see both sides.
It's, you know.
Yeah. What happens to the people that Rambo's shooting at?
To live in reality.
Indeed.
All right.
All Quiet on the Western Front, tremendous movie, number 4. Number 3, best movie of 2022, we have The Northman. Written and directed by Robert Eggers, who always hits it out of the park. The guy, I mean, he's a...
3 times, right?
3 times. 3 hits. At least in my opinion. I know commercially, not what they were hoping for.
For what? The Northman?
The Northman, yeah.
I thought you were going to say The Lighthouse. I was like, did they think that was going to like set theaters on fire?
I will not let Neil talk bad about The Lighthouse. I promise you.
The Witch is better, in my opinion. But
The Lighthouse is better. The Witch is fantastic. But The Northman, mentioned Robert Eggers, Alexander Skarsgård as Amleth, Viking warrior prince. Nicole Kidman is Queen Gudrun, Amleth's mother. I'm going to mispronounce this one pretty bad, but Claus Bang as Fjolnir the Brotherless.
He's really awesome.
He is fantastic.
Really holds his own with the rest of the more famous cast members.
Really interesting villain. I mean, he's human garbage, but he's not the worst villain in the movie. Right? Spoiler. At this point, I'm just going to spoil this one. I think. I don't know. Nicole Kidman is still very...
depending on your point of view.
So everything's a point of view. Anya Taylor-Joy as Olga of the Birch Forest, a Slavic sorceress.
She's really picking good projects, you know. She's consistently picking good projects right now, which is really cool.
I'm really just unaware of who Anya Taylor-Joy is. I remember that this role was well acted, but not much else. Why?
She was in the Queen's Gambit, if you...
yes, the chess film.
The chess.
Yes, that's right. I know nothing else of her, and am not very interested in it.
She's in The Menu.
Oh, thank you very much. Back for the 3rd time, don't call it a comeback, Ethan Hawke! Woo!
Ethan Hawke rules, man.
He really does. He really, really does. King Arvandil War Raven. Amleth's father and Fjolnir's brother. Lots of Ethan Hawke today. Good for him.
Yeah. You can never have too much Ethan Hawke.
You can't. Continuing on with the cast, Gustav Lind as Thor the Proud, Fjolnir's older son and Amleth's cousin. And last but not least, Willem Dafoe as Helmir the Fool. We love us some Willem Dafoe here on Tweed Up. Neil, what's your favorite Willem Dafoe role?
Last Temptation of Christ.
Excellent answer. The Northman itself is a beautiful film with really amazing characters and a really tremendous revenge plot. You don't have a whole lot of time to get to know the people that are to be avenged, but you want to see them avenged. This is a wrong that needs righting, and buddy, you're going to get it. Amleth's quest to make things right in his world, the steps that he goes to after having escaped a bad situation, becoming strong, being that guy. I mean, Alexander Skarsgård, I think he is technically a Viking, because he sure as heck is one on the screen. Yeah,
it's a pretty, I would say, pretty straightforward presentation of the saga, the Icelandic saga of Amleth, of Prince Amleth, you know? For me, that's what I really liked about the film. I love that they made a scene about, I don't know the name of that sport, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
It is.
But we don't know like what the rules or what that is. But they
the
played
playing field and the components.
Yeah, they played this sport and they would play it for like days. You know, and it's a really interesting scene, and that's the kind of thing I think that Robert Eggers excels at is kind of period details. Like in The Lighthouse, it's all like the dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, same with the dialogue in The Witch. Like the period accurate dialogue is amazing.
Yeah.
Now this one, because it's not in, you know, it wouldn't originally have been in English. Obviously, doesn't have that kind of like period specific dialogue. But what he does is take things like that sport, you know, to give it that sort of authenticity. You know?
World building or putting you into that that time period. I'm not a Norse expert or
am I.
Yeah, but the way that they show their culture, the fool and the vision quest.
I love the sort of like the shamanism that they show in it. You know, I love Bjork is in it as Cirrus. She's really cool.
The superstitions that these people have and the way that Hamlet kind of manipulates them and uses them to his advantage while still sort of abiding them. Pretty fantastic. How the deal that he makes and the tools that he gains.
And like I would also say like some of the decisions that the characters make in the film are I would say if Robert Eggers was trying to make a more like appealing film, they wouldn't make them. But he's that's why I say it's a pretty faithful.
Don't worry about a happy ending.
It's a faithful, straightforward, you know, retelling of the legend, like the Icelandic saga.
Have any of Robert Eggers' 3 films had a happy ending?
I don't believe so. No.
I guess you could say The Witch had a happy ending, depending on your perspective there.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah, a little rough, this movie, but I'd watch it again. My wife would not watch that movie again, nor would she watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, mine neither.
Yeah. So maybe there's a little bit too much masculinity in it, but there's some strong female characters. Nicole Kidman, love her or hate her, you know, she does what she's got to do to survive. She's going to get by. Anya Taylor-Joy's character, arguably a heroine. Fantastic movie. Solid number 3 for 2022.
We are up to number 2. I'm going to go with Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Released March 25th, so pretty early in the year. Directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, or the Daniels. Written by the Daniels. Starring Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn, who is amazing in this film. You know, if I were, you know, giving away Academy Awards, Michelle Yeoh would get Best Actress for sure. She is asked to do so much in this film, which is a crazy movie, but she's asked to do lots of dramatic and sell lots of dramatic stuff, and she's also asked to wear hot dogs on her fingers, you know? And she does both. She sells both. And
at a high level.
She is still a fantastic martial artist, you know? It's amazing.
I have no idea how old she is, but judging by the span of her career, she's got to be at least my age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's amazing. And, like, that's the thing, like, and she's a great actress.
She really is.
She's a great martial artist and a great actress. You also have Ke Huy Quan as Waymond. You have James Hong as Gong Gong, and Jamie Lee Curtis as Deidre. They're all great. The rest of the cast is great as well. If you haven't seen it, it's a...
Yeah, how do you explain
it? It is a multiverse movie, you know, like the Doctor Strange movie, but it does it in a personal way, you know? I mean, so I don't want to spoil things, but the trailers kind of give this away. She's seeing, you know, different ways that her life might have turned out. Yeah. She might have had hot dogs on her fingers. But, I mean...
Could happen to the best of us.
It gets crazy, and it gets way out there. Way out there.
Everything, everywhere.
Yeah, but it's about family. It's about relationships between husband and wife. It's about relationships between mother and daughter, and all of those relationships are feel real in this film. And
not contrived.
Yeah. And it's amazing that happens because this film goes places. You know what I mean? And the action's really fun. It's really hilarious. And I think anyone that's over 13 or 14 should watch this movie because it's
different.
It's different and it's super fun and it's not weird just to be weird.
No.
It's weird, but it has a goal and it has a point and it gets there. And Michelle Yeoh has always been amazing, and this is just like the perfect sort of summation of
the jewel in her crown,
her career, I think. And not that, I mean, she can keep making awesome movies, but she's really, really fantastic in this movie, and I think her performance alone gets it to number 2 for me. I really loved it, But anyway, and then what could be better than Everything Everywhere All at Once?
What could it be? Well, it is The Batman. Amazing. Woo! The Batman 2022, directed by Matt Reeves, who also directed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. Oh, no!
It's all right.
Yeah. And a little film called Cloverfield, starring Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
He's awesome.
And Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle, also pretty awesome. Jeffrey Wright is Lieutenant James Gordon, not Commissioner. And he's not the Commissioner because this is an early Batman. It's about 2 years after Batman has hit the scene here in Gotham.
Getting his vigilante legs.
Yeah. Andy Serkis is Alfred, who is amazing in every single thing that he has ever been in. Made me cry the first time I ever saw him playing Gollum, just because I was so wowed by that performance.
Yeah, shout out to his performance in The Heavenly Sword.
Shout out to his performance in Andor. Like, I will watch Andy Serkis do whatever he wants to do in any movie, and including Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, Paul Dano as the Riddler, the primary antagonist of the film.
He's really good in it, too.
He is. Good in most of his things. I can't think of a role that I didn't like. But then Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
It's amazing.
Except for it's not really him, I swear. But obviously, lots of prosthetics, makeup, and a heck of a performance from Colin Farrell. Genuinely didn't recognize him when he came on screen. Knew it was going to happen. Still didn't get it.
It is crazy.
Intense.
Yeah.
Suspense. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Movies that make you kind of clench and, oh man, like, how are we going to get through this? There's a level of stress that starts at the beginning of the movie, and they pull it tauter and tauter and tauter throughout the entire movie until you yourself in the audience are wondering, am I going to break? This is just pushing me. And boy, the payoff, I thought it was fantastic.
There's so many, like what I was talking about earlier about comic book movies taking inspiration from comics. There are so many like shots in this film.
Correct.
Like, dude, there's a chase sequence, and then the ending shot at the end of that chase sequence. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's like.
You've seen it too in the trailer.
I love the MCU, but like this movie totally beats them on taking a comic book image and putting it on the screen. In my opinion, this is so much better than any other current DC project. I don't understand like how. I like the Joker as well, but this is more of a superhero film, and it doesn't feel like any of like the Justice League or Man of Steel or any of that stuff. It's
Batman
so good.
v Superman.
Yeah,
throw that away. Just watch the Batman.
When I first saw this Batmobile, I was not into it, but I love it now. I think it's fantastic.
I legitimately think it may be my favorite Batmobile. Yeah. Maybe my second compared to the original the Michael Keaton. Yeah,
it's hard to get.
That's a Batman. That's a Batmobile to me. But this, I mean, it's legit. It's early. It's scrapped together. It is awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. And that chase sequence is so good.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right up there with I think some of the Batman Begins, like that series.
Oh yeah.
There were several good chase sequences in those films.
I can't remember the name of the Hopper or whatever.
Yeah. But this is like right up there with.
Destruction, speed, chaos. Yeah. Just absolute mayhem.
And then like
with an amazing payoff again.
What Zac was saying about the action scenes towards the end of the picture are all really cool.
Oh,
you know, really well set up and really used not just as action scenes but to build character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, I think, a hard thing to do, especially when we've all seen a million comic book movies. You
right. Know? And, you know, we've all seen a lot of Batmans at this point.
Yeah.
And I know that there was a lot of skepticism when Robert Pattinson was announced as the Batman. I felt it too.
He's awesome in it, man.
He is
I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Especially for this time period Batman. He's young. He's not polished. He is not a lady killer. You know, he is rage fueled.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah. He's a wacko. He's a guy that puts on
a bat suit.
Yeah, he puts on a bat suit and goes and fights dudes. He takes his rage out on people in the fight scenes.
He would have an IEP, you know, if he was in school.
Giving away your some credentials there, my friend. But yeah, filled with rage, and yet you still see that intellect. You know, this movie, while it is an action, you know, adventure thriller, in a way, it is a noir mystery.
Yeah, the lighting's great.
Oh,
the music's great.
Every scene, I mean, the whole movie is dark.
Yeah.
But it's not the dark where you can't see anything.
Right.
It's just some kind of film magic. They've made this really dark, foreboding area that also every scene has a color, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of dark movies lean into the blues. This one leans a little towards reds from time, and you know, I think that really lets it stand. It stands apart from a lot of other. I feel like superhero movies in general are pretty blue.
Yep.
You know.
Very blue. That's what people like. The blue and the orange.
Yeah.
Throw that together. I have one gripe with this movie, if it's not too early for gripes. I felt like it had multiple endings.
Well, I think the ending. When we say the ending, you mean the ending after all of the sort of action sequence.
There's a war. There's a war in the arena.
You're talking about the denouement, if you will.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I do think that is partly because of its situation and like that there is no real DCU because they keep deciding to scrap projects and move stuff around. You know what I mean? So I think they did have to set it up for a sequel, and I'm down for that. But there's part of me that thinks like just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like
just cut it out.
This is great.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily need a sequel.
I will see that movie.
I know.
Oh, I saw this one in the theater.
Right.
I'll be there.
Yes, 100%.
For the next one. But yeah, to your point, every now and again.
This movie is good enough. You know, when movies are really good, like I think they don't need a sequel, and this is like that kind of movie.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a bit of a limb here. Last thought on the Batman. I believe that it is my favorite Batman movie, with an asterisk. The Dark Knight is a Joker movie.
Yeah.
If you call The Dark Knight a Joker movie...
So you're saying you like that movie better?
I can't decide between the two, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would... The Michael Keaton movie, like, just because...
It's great.
Going to the mall and seeing that in the theater... Yes, I'm old.
I saw that movie in the mall, too.
That was, like... The first time that I remember, like, going to a movie theater and it being, like, an event. You know what I mean? Like, I had seen, like, E.T., you know, but there wasn't, like... I just remember going, and there were, like, just huge standees, you know, that were, like, larger than life, you know, and, like, you know, that really, I feel like, started the whole, like, everyone, you know, these days, every... Star Wars or MCU movie, people are going to the midnight launch and stuff like that. Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman, was '89, right? Was just like the start of that, I think. You know, and like for that reason, it will always, I think, be my favorite Batman movie. Not that, but
there's nothing wrong with that answer.
Yeah,
you're perfectly right.
But this is probably second. You know, I think I can comfortably say that I like this better than the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah, and I love me some Christopher Nolan movie, Batmans and movies. Batman Begins, tremendous, was my favorite for a long time.
No, they're good, but I think I like this better.
And I think that you've got good taste, my friend. Yeah. Just a final note on the top 10 movies of 2022. They included 5 sequels, 2 reboots, if you count Pinocchio, 3 Marvel movies, and 3 original intellectual properties, I believe.
All right. There we go.
Great year for movies, I thought. Getting better.
There are lots of movies if we want to do, like, so a lot of the reasoning behind what's on this list is what we have seen.
Yeah. These are our best movies.
Yeah, and there are lots of movies that we have not seen that are not on this list.
Come to terms on Nope. I want to say I believe Nope should have been on this list. Tremendous movie. Jordan Peele's doing big things.
And neither of us have seen Wakanda Forever because it's only in theaters. You can't stream it
Why
right
is it
now.
still only in theaters?
But yeah, I mean, there's lots of other movies, like the shout out to the Weird Al with Daniel Radcliffe, and lots of great movies this year. But you know, this is a list of what we have seen and what we enjoyed.
Yeah. So that's our top 10 movies of 2022. Again, not the best movies of the year, just the best movies that we've seen and our favorites. Thank you for joining us here at Tweed Up. Let us know what you want to see. I don't know if you can tell, but this man owns just about every video game you ever want to see, of just about every console. We will make videos for you if you tell us what you want us to talk about. Maybe, unless it's garbage.
All right. Thanks for watching Tweed Up. I'm Neil.
I'm Zach.
Peace out.
Peace out.